All right, hey everybody, and welcome to Zenfolio Live. I'm Robert with Zenfolio Customer Success. I want to say thanks for joining us on the live stream today. Today we're going to be talking about getting you set up and some best practices for selling stock photography here on Zenfolio. So hey, if this is your first time hanging out with us, make sure you say hi to us in the chat. Let us know where you're joining us from. I've got Dennis hanging out, modding you guys, taking care of you guys in the chat, so make sure you show Dennis some love. As you guys can see, I'm wearing a hat, which is not my usual attire. That's because I totally forgot to shave my head this week, and so my hair looks a little scraggly, and I thought I would just cover it up. Plus, it does a nice job of blocking that bright blind spot from the light overhead. So this is an all-around win for me, I think. But anyway, like I said, we're going to be talking about how to sell stock photography here on Zenfolio. I'm going to show you how to create a stock photography container in your account. It's really important that you understand how to make different sections in your account. We're going to talk about uploading folders into that container. We're going to go through gallery settings and SEO. I'm going to show you how to build and apply a price list. We're going to set up a stock photography site menu, and then I'm going to show you how to share it. So there's a lot of things that I'm going to have to get through today. I'm going to do as good as I can to get through them quickly without making it feel too quickly. And I'm going to try my hardest to leave some time to answer some questions at the end of the live stream. Again, make sure you guys say hi to us. Let us know where you're from there in the chat. Right now, let's see, I've got Robert DeSosa hanging out with us, Joaquin jumping back on with us. Always good to have you guys there. Home Phone, Deborah, JD Engel, and Chuck Bloom. Thanks for jumping on here and hanging out with us, you guys. I hope this video, this live stream, whether you're watching the live version or the recorded version, finds you and your family safe. I know we're going through a little bit of a crazy time right now, so wherever you are, I hope that you guys are staying safe, being smart, and just making the best out of this time that we're going through. And really quick, before we get started, I do have a couple of announcements. So the first thing I want to announce is that Zenfolio has put together a COVID-19 vendor update link. There's actually two links. They're in the description below this video. So make sure that you check them out. These are links to support guide articles that are going to be updated. These are going to give you any kind of delays or any kind of information with our vendors in regards to COVID-19 and how it's affecting the delivery times of your products. Like I said, there's two links. There's one that's designed for you. It's going to have all the lab names. And then there's one that if you want to send it out to your clients, you can do that as well, and it will let them kind of track maybe when they're supposed to get their orders and different information like that. So again, it's below the video in the description. Go ahead and check that out. And hey, really quick, I just want to say that I know right now in this time, like we're all kind of a little afraid what's going on. We're a little uncertain, but us here at Zenfolio are dedicated at constantly making sure that we are providing you guys tools to be as successful as possible, and we are driving full force ahead still. So with that being said, if you have not checked out Photo Booker yet, go check out Photo Booker. It's a new thing by Zenfolio that we're putting out there. So go check it out. Go set up a profile today and check it out. We're going to have Richard on, not today, but probably next week, talking a little bit more about Photo Booker. So make sure that you guys go check it out. There is a link to that in the description below the video as well. And then continuing on from the last couple of weeks, I'm challenging us all as photographers to post some positive content daily. I feel like as photographers, we have a responsibility to make sure that we are surfacing the positive things that we see around us. And right now, the world really needs that. So if you haven't done this yet, or just if you are not a social media person most of the time, take it upon yourself. Try to post something positive daily to encourage other people around you and make a difference. All right, guys, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into today's topic, which is setting up and selling stock photography here on Zenfolio. All right, so to get things started, we're first going to talk about setting up a stock photography container here in your account. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do is it's really important to have these separate containers. It's really important to kind of section your account out because you're going to want to have some sections of your account where you have public photos, people are easy finding them and accessing them, and it's bringing traffic to your site. You'll probably want to have a separate section for your client photos, and then you'll probably want to go ahead and set up a separate section for if you're going to do stock photography. So I just want to show you really quick My suggestions for setting that up, what you're going to do is come down here to all photographs, go ahead and create a new group. Just click new group, and let me kind of shrink myself down there. There we go. Create a new group in here, and you can name it whatever you want, stock photography, something like that. But just create a new container in here. Now, the reason that, wow, I must have already had that name. Let me refresh my browser and make sure I don't have anything crazy going on. That's what I have going on. Give me a second, you guys. Looky there. That's what was going on. That's what happens when you try to log into two separate accounts in your Zenfolio. So give me 1 second. Let me fix that. I had fixing an issue for somebody earlier, and I must have logged into the wrong account. There we go. Okay. Back to where we can actually use it now. Let's go back up here and we'll create a new group. We'll call this stock photography. All right. This time it let me create it because I'm actually logged into this account now. And then the reason we're creating this is because we are going to apply some very specific settings to this. And we want to do this before we start uploading content because we want the content that we upload to take on these specific settings that we're applying to it. So what we're going to do is click on this folder that we created right here. And then we're going to come up here to access. And I'm just going to walk you through the settings here that I would recommend for your stock photography group that you're setting up here. So first of all, obviously your privacy settings. We want this to be public. We want this to be found and accessed all over the web for people to come in here and buy your photos. So we're leaving that to public here. Go down to downloading. If for some reason downloading is enabled, go ahead and turn downloading off. Don't even do the download with a password because those passwords can get shared. You want people to purchase downloads as digital products. So we're going to disable this download. That does not have to be turned on to sell your photos as downloads. This is just the free download. Again, we want to make sure this is turned off. For display size, you guys can choose what option you want here. Basically, this is how large of a display image is that gallery or group going to give you when it's online. If you want people to be able to view your photos really large on higher resolution monitors, you might want to go with the XX. For this one, I'm just going to leave this one set to the extra large for now. Now, really important, go down to sharing, and we can create a friendly URL for this, okay? So if you have a domain name already set up, you can make it really easy for people to get to your stock photography just by setting up a friendly URL. You click that little toggle, and then you could go right in here and you could write stock photography. And if you'll notice, that actually changes that URL. So it makes it super easy to share out, and it just makes it really nice and easy if you're putting it out on social media and different things like that. Okay, I'm going to go down to commenting. I have most of this turned off on the visitor view side anyway, but just as an extra step of precaution, I don't really want people commenting on any of this stuff, so I'm going to go ahead and uncheck all of these options. This is not something that I want to use. Now, another important setting is the search setting right here. Now, a lot of times I'll recommend, like for client galleries and different things like that, you might want to restrict the search. You might want to just have it on your site only. For your stock photos, where you're wanting people to find this in Google search and to come to your site and buy stuff, you're going to want to make sure that this is publicly searchable. That way these pages get indexed by the search engines and people are going in there and checking out these photos. Display options here. If you want to display your metadata, and such as your EXIF data and all of that, you can. And in some cases, that might be a benefit for stock photography. What do you guys think in chat? Do you think showing EXIF data is a benefit for your stock photography or not? So this is an option here you can turn on or off. I'm kind of on the fence either way. I know there are some companies and some people who are like, okay, well, what lens was this shot on? What was the exposure? All of that stuff. They like to know that stuff. Some people don't really care about it. Up to you guys here, whether you want. A couple of these other options I kind of turn off. So we don't really care about how many people visited the gallery. Well, we can see it on our side. We don't really want that to display on the outside. Collections, I'm not going to worry about that. I do want this included in the recently added section of my homepage, even if I'm not using that. Okay, a couple of these other options down here do not really apply, so we don't have to worry about that. And we're going to click save. And so now we have that container set up, right? So anything that we upload in there will automatically take that container settings on, and we don't have to worry about going to each gallery and individually customizing it. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to upload our folders into this container. So what I would encourage you guys to do is, first of all, make sure that you have the Google Chrome browser. This is the only browser that this option is available in. And then what you can do is you can organize your photos into folders like this right here. So you have different categories, different organizations done in here. Like obviously this has photos of people in it. You can go back, there's all kinds of different options. You can have a lot of different organization in here. And then as long as you have the Google Chrome browser, you go right to that stock photography container, hit upload, and then you can simply drag and drop these folders right in there. And it's going to create a gallery for each one of those folders that you have. So it's going to be a lot faster doing it this way than trying to go in and manually create different galleries and then uploading photos. All right, so we're going to go hit start upload, and that's going to upload those photos. And just some technical recommendations when you're uploading photos. You probably want to go ahead and upload the JPEG file, the full resolution JPEG file. Most stock photography sites that I was researching do not recommend that you upsample your images. You just want to upload the largest JPEG file that your camera is capable of producing. Do not put any watermarks in your images actually on the photo. So don't open them up in Photoshop and put a watermark where it's actually inside the image. You can watermark later on in Zenfolio, so that way when people buy the downloads, the watermark actually comes off the image. Unless you want the watermark in the image, and in that case, you would want to watermark it before you upload. But most people want to buy a non-watermarked image, and so you're going to want to do that in Zenfolio. Also, use the sRGB color space. So make sure that you're using sRGB. If you're in like Pro Photo or Adobe RGB 1998, there's a lot of different color spaces. sRGB is like the common color space. That's what monitors use. That's what most of the labs use. And so that's the color space that you're going to want to upload those photos into. Okay. So now that we've created that stock photography container and then we've uploaded our galleries, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go in here and we're going to talk about the gallery and photo titles, the captions and the keywords and the categories and all of that good stuff, because that's stuff that will help people find your images, find your stock photography stuff. So I've actually already gone in and set a lot of this up in a different folder. And so what we're going to do is just open up that other folder that I've set up here. So we're going to go in here and I'm going to bring this other folder out here so you guys can see this. Actually, it's already out here. Let me go back. So it's inside of this photos folder. I just kind of threw this in here. So we're going to talk a little bit about the titles, the categories, the captions, and all of that stuff. So if you guys watch our site reviews, you'll hear me talk a lot about SEO and about the way that you title things and that stuff is important and that it matters. All right. So starting with this folder where we're kind of containing all of our stock photography, think about the way that you're naming it, right? Naming it just stock photography might not be the best name for it. We want to name it something that's going to be searchable, that it's going to show up in search results for. And so I changed the name of this folder that I created earlier to say royalty-free stock photography for websites, social media, brochures, ads, and other marketing materials. Now, as you guys can see, that title is kind of annoying in the organizer. It takes up a lot of space, slightly annoys me, and I don't always want to have to look at that. So I just hid that inside of another folder so that I can collapse it down and kind of hide it when I don't need it to show. But for SEO purposes, I went ahead and gave it that nice long title. Now, just like you can do a title, if you come over here on the details of that folder, with groups, you can also write a caption. Okay, and you want to write these things for two different audiences. You want to write it for people because people are actually going to read this information, but you're also dropping in there strategically different keywords like stock photography, photo collection, different things like that, right? So I just wrote a quick caption here. It says, browse our royalty-free stock photos, pictures, and images. Find the ideal stock photo by browsing our stock photography collection. That's just something I wrote in there really quick. You could add more information in there. I don't even really want people seeing this page other than if they find it in search. If they go to my website, they're probably not even going to notice any of this. But we're just putting information in here to make this searchable. Okay, and after you do that at the folder level here, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go in there and we're going to look at the galleries. So if I close this little window and we expand this, you'll notice that I have done the same thing to my gallery titles as well. So on this one, I titled it People, but then I added the title or the text in here, royalty-free stock photos of people for websites, social media, brochures, ads, and other marketing materials. You don't have to go that in depth. You don't have to use the same phrasing for everything. In fact, it would probably be beneficial if you kind of alternated what you said on these different gallery titles. I just want you guys to start thinking about the way you're titling these types of galleries, because those titles matter. And rather than just titling it People, think about what else you could put in there to help lead people to those galleries and to help it get a better indexing on search results. Okay, so after you title the gallery, go up to details, and then guess what? You can do a caption. And I just kind of modified the same text and added the phrase, you can find photos of people in here. Then you can do keywords. Okay, so we have clothes shopping, there's female, and I'm doing a combination of single keywords, which is just one word and then a comma, and keyword phrases, which is like a phrase enclosed in quotation marks. And then we went down here and we categorized this, okay? All of this stuff matters. Okay, all of this text stuff matters to help these surface better. And then once you do that on a gallery level, then you need to start thinking about the images. You need to think about the way that the images are titled. Nobody searches for DSC_97054.jpg, right? Nobody does a search for that. People are looking for women wearing sunglasses, women shopping, women in the city, different things like that. So look at the image and give it a title that describes what's in that image. And you can kind of title a lot of these together and then modify them individually to kind of fit that specific photo. But you can title the image. If you go up here to details, title it, write a caption, add some keywords in here, and categorize those as well. Now you can do this on an image by image level, or you can strategically select different images that are kind of similar and do those at once and then select other ones. And what I mean by that is if you come in here, you can say, okay, this is a woman shopping with shopping bags. This one is, so I'm holding Command on my keyboard, Control for you guys that are on a PC. Come down here, grab some of these, and then with those selected, you can go back up and hit Details. And then you can actually come in there and keyword and title those together, and then go to each one and modify them slightly if they need slight modifications. Now, I've already done that, so I'm not going to change on searches. All right. So once you have that stuff keyworded, titled, and all of that stuff, once you go in here and you really do that to these photos, thinking about the way you're titling them, getting them all set up, the next thing that you want to do is you want to kind of get this stuff ready for a client, right? So you want to get a price list set up. You want to get all of that stuff. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to talk about building a stock photography price list. Now, I'm going to do this with digital downloads. What do you guys think about also offering print products on whoa, did I get lost? Somebody said I got lost. What do you guys think about doing print products on a stock photography price list? Part of me says, I don't think anybody's going to buy these as prints, but the other part of me says, if it's things like landscape, why not go ahead and offer those to be printed as canvas prints? Honest question for you guys in chat. Let me know what you guys think there in chat, okay? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about building that price list. So what we're going to do first is go in and build our digital products. Now, I'm not going to really deep dive into the digital product building. I'm already created some samples. I'm just going to show you guys how I have these set up so you guys can see this. So we're going to go to selling right up here. And then we're going to click on digital products. And as I'm going through this, guys, if you have any questions, anything you need me to dive deeper in, I'm going to try to make it to the end with enough time to answer questions. Make sure you're getting those in the chat. Dennis is going to be getting those over to me. And if you guys saw on the Facebook post, we are going to be giving away a $50 account credit today. So make sure you're paying attention to Dennis for how that's going to happen, because he's going to let you guys know how to do that. Okay, so here we are in digital products, and I just want to give you some examples of how to set up these for stock photography. So rather than doing things like single image download, we want to set these up for the purpose, right? So this might be like a web use one where they're going to use it on their website. Maybe we have one for small print. And so just to show you these different settings, what we're going to do is click in here, and I'll show you the web use one really quick. So here's the web use one. I just titled it web use. And then down here on the license, I went ahead and set it to royalty-free commercial use. We do have built-in licenses in here you can use. If you have your own license, or if you want to write your own, or you've bought one, or you've worked with a lawyer to create one, you can upload your own license in here, and it becomes an option here. Now for this web use one, I want that image to be no longer than 1,000 pixels on its longest edge. So if it's a portrait image, 1,000 pixels tall. If it's a landscape image, 1,000 pixels wide. So we're going to go down here, and I'm going to go in here and select largest dimension up to uploaded size. And then we can identify right here how long or how large we want this image to be. Now, the cool thing about doing this is when you use these settings, is when Zenfolio emails the client that digital product, we send them a copy of that license, but we also downsize the image for you. So when somebody buys this, we would downsize the image to 1,000 pixels on the longest edge, maintaining the proportion of the image, keeping it in the same aspect ratio. And then we would email it to the client for them to download, and it would have a copy of their license here. So this is what I have for web use. Just going down, saving that really quick. And then the other ones are just like small, medium, large, and original. So using the same thing for these small ones. So if I go to small, just using the largest dimensions to downsize to 1,500. And then just going back out. The other ones are medium, 2,500. Again, using that same setting so that it gets downsized. And then large is 4,000. So it gets downsized to that. You have to be careful there. Whenever you get these largest dimensions, this is, again, another reason why it's really important to make sure that you're uploading your full resolution JPEG files, because you need to make sure that your image is capable of supporting that 4,000 largest pixel dimension. And then original image would be the actual file that you upload here. Okay, and these are all using that royalty-free commercial use. And this would just let the client purchase and download the actual image that you upload. Now, if you want to have your own license in there, you can click on licenses right here, and you can view and modify our license if you need to, or you can go down here and click add license and actually upload your own. Now, we've got these digital products in here created. They're not available for purchase until you actually add them to a price list. So if you just go in here and create them, your clients are not going to be able to purchase them. You still have to put them on a price list and then apply that price list to a gallery, to a group, however you're going to do that. So that's what we're going to do next. We're going to go to selling and go to price list. And then I've actually already created this royalty-free stock photography price list, and I named it that so I know what it's for. But start with a blank price list over here, and then you can add your digital products in. But let me just click on this really quick, and I'll just show you guys how I have this set up. And I'll show you how to add digital products in case you're not familiar with doing that to a price list. So if you're not familiar, once you start a price list, click Add Products. You're going to click up here to where it says All Vendors. Click on your name, and then you're going to see, let me check my settings. I was working with some people. There we go. That's why things were looking weird. I was working with some people in the European Union earlier. Okay, so you would click up here, go down and choose your name, and then digital downloads would be right here, and then you can select the products you want to add. Now, after you have them in here, you're going to want to come down here and price these. And obviously, I've kind of priced these according to their use. And then what I like to do, and I think the best settings for your stock photography gallery, is to use the quick shop, especially if you're only selling digital images. That way the limits or the options that your clients see are very limited. It keeps them very focused. It doesn't get them looking through other things, trying to figure out other things. I like to use the quick shop. It's really super simple, and I'll show you what that looks like. But what you're going to do is come down here, and usually this automatic option is turned on the first time you create a price list. Preferably I turn it off. I select everything in this little side panel. So you click the first item, hold shift on your keyboard, click the last one, hit this add button, and that will bring all of those products over to your quick shop list. Now, the reason I turn this automatic option off is because if you're offering more than 10 products, you can show more than 10 products in your quick shop list. You just need to turn the automatic option off and manually do it to set that up. Now, once you have your price list created, there's a couple of options you might want to think about. The first one is, do you want to approve these orders? Right? So when somebody goes in and they buy one of those photos as a stock photography, do you want to review the order and look over it before we email them the digital file? If you don't want to, if there's not a reason for that, then you want to click on that price list settings, come in here and set your digital downloads to go through automatically. Or if you're offering prints and you just want everything to go through, you can set this up so that it goes through automatically. And what that does is when your clients place the order, we don't require you to approve it. It just goes to the lab to be printed, or the files are processed and the email is sent to your clients to download their photos. Now, if this is set to none, then that approval process is still in place. So you would have to approve the order, then we would send them their digital files and send the print to the lab. So something to think about here for stock photography, this setting can be independent per price list. So you can have a portrait session price list where you approve the orders because you want to see the prints, make sure that the cropping is okay. You can have that set up to approve, but your stock photography price list could just let everything go through because maybe you don't need to have to worry about it and you just don't want to have to stop and approve orders. So something to think about here. Now, once you save this, then if you go down here to the bottom, there is a save and assign button. And what you can do is you can save and assign this to a single gallery. You can assign it to a group, however you need. So this is why, again, the benefit of having a stock photography account or section created in here is you could say, okay, this is my royalty-free stock photography price list for everything that I'm offering that way. You can go into the folder here and apply it right to this, and then it would apply it down to everything that's inside of here. Okay, so that is how that is going to work, and then you hit save. And if you need to do any adjusting, maybe you have a photo that you want to sell at a higher rate, right? Maybe you want to offer a couple of the photos in the same product options, but you want them to be a little bit more expensive. If you want to do that, you just duplicate this price list. And we'll call this, we'll keep it royalty-free stock photography, but we'll go to the very beginning and I'll say select photos or something like that. So we know that this is a higher priced options here. So then we're just going to go down here and just raise up the pricing of our downloads. And maybe for these specific photos, we don't even want them to be used online. We don't even want to sell them smaller than a large or original. And then we can come in here and say, okay, instead of 225, 300, instead of 400, let's do 600. Okay. And then once you up those prices, you're going to click save. And then you can go into your account, go to photos, go down to your stock photography. And then let's say, okay, let's go into our landscape one. So let's say in these, maybe this photo and this photo is a special edit. They need to be higher priced, and I only want them available for those bigger download sizes. So you can click that photo, hold Command on your keyboard, click this one, go to price list. It's going to say photo only pricing, and then you can say yes, allow ordering from my price list, and then I'm switching it over to that select option and hitting save. So now when clients go in there, when they see those two photos, they'll be priced a little bit higher and the options will be a little bit different from these. All right. Okay, so now that we have applied that price list, the next thing that we're going to do is talk about our stock photography site menu navigation. Okay, so there's a couple of ways that you can set this up on the main side of your website to get people to go into your stock photography section. I'm going to show you how I have it set up. I'm also going to show you a couple of tricks that you can do, but I would definitely recommend that you use a drop down menu. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hover over website right up here, and then I'm going to right click on customize website and open it in a new tab. So that way I can kind of jump back and forth between these two separate tabs here. One is going to be customize view. The other is going to be this view right here. So we're going to hit continue in here. And then I actually already have this set up as a drop-down menu. So what I would do is a couple of things. Let me just delete it and we will rebuild this really quick because I'll show you how to do it. So the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that it is really easy for people to identify that if they're coming to your website, that's where they're going to go for those royalty stock photos. You probably don't want to call it galleries. You could call it galleries, but again, this text matters as well. This stuff matters as well. So you don't need to go in and put like royalty-free stock photos for your marketing campaigns. It doesn't need to be really wordy. It just needs to be differentiated. I can't say the word. It needs to be easily identifiable and separate from your portfolio work. So I'm going to go in here and say add a new site menu item. I'll just say royalty-free stock photos. We'll say photos because that's shorter. We're going to hit enter, and then we're going to make this a drop-down menu, because what I don't want to do is I don't want to link directly to the group. You guys, if you've been hanging out with me for a while, you see why I don't recommend doing that group link, because that navigation is really cumbersome. You have to do a lot of clicking around, and we just want to make this really easy for people, okay? And so what we're going to do is make this a drop down. I'm going to hit update, and then we're going to put in our first drop down menu item. Now, just a couple of suggestions. Zenfolio does have a built-in search. And since we identified this to show up in search results by going to access, search, and allow searching, public content to be publicly searching. And actually I need to fix that. Let me change that. I didn't do that on this one. Allow content to be publicly searchable, right? Since we're allowing that in this, it will be found in our built-in search that's in your Zenfolio account. Now, what you want to do is make sure that you go to like any client galleries that you don't want showing up in search and turn that option off. So if I click on clients, we go to access, we can go down here to search, and we can say do not include in any search results. This way, if people are searching through the stock photos, our client images are not going to be populating in that search. Okay, it's going to keep those separate. All right, so I just wanted to show you that, but back to the navigation. So what we're going to do is hover over this, hit the little plus button, and I'm going to go ahead and just start it off by saying search. And we're going to take this and link this to a built-in or custom page, link it to our built-in search page right here, and hit update. So if I reload this, now we have a drop down. The first option is search under royalty-free stock photos. So they can go here, click on search, and that's going to take them to the search page, and then they can search for whatever you have photos keyworded for. So it brings them to that search page. Then we can also link directly to the galleries that we've set up. Okay, so we're going to go over here, click a drop-down menu, and then I'll say people. And now for this, I'm making the titles really simple because I don't want them to appear really wordy on this drop-down menu. That's just in the gallery titles so that it helps out with search. So we're going to type in people, hit enter. I'm going to say link this to a group, gallery, or collection. Then we'll hit select. And then we're going to expand this, go down in here. I'll find my people's gallery and link directly to it. Hit update. And then we're just going to continue that process, okay? So we're going to go back over here, hit the little plus button, and let's add in food and beverage. We'll hit enter. We're going to link it to a group, gallery, or collection. Link it directly to that particular gallery. So food and beverage, hit select and update. And then one more time, we'll link that to our landscape and scenic gallery. So we're going to go here. We'll say landscape and scenic, whatever you want to call it. I was just trying to throw some titles in here. And then we're going to link that to a group, gallery, or collection, expand that, and go in here and link it to that. And so we've created a pretty easy navigation system in here. So if I just do a preview of this really quick, clients could come right here and hover over this site menu. They have search, or they can go to people, food and beverage, different options that they could click on. So I clicked on people, and here is my people gallery. Okay, and what's important is you'll notice while we're here, I have my caption showing. I have my title showing. If I scroll down, the categories and keywords are showing down here. So all of this helps my search results. Okay, so that's the navigation. Now I want to show you a quick trick that you can do. One of the tricks you can do is you can link to this search page with a search term already entered. So for those of you guys who are used to using Lightroom, and maybe you like to set up smart collections in Lightroom where it pulls images together based on keywords, you can kind of do that with the Zenfolio search. And so let me show you what I mean by that. I've keyworded a lot of those images with the phrase woman or women. I've also keyworded it with the word shopping, different things like that. So what I could do is I could have a general people gallery, but then instead of making a collection or a separate gallery for women, I could go to the search page and type in the word women in here, hit search. All right. And then what that's going to do is populate this with all of the photos that have either that word woman or women in the keyword, in the title, wherever it's been put in there, it's gonna populate that. And then what you can do is if you bring your browser down, you're going to see right up here, it's just a link with the keyword. Now you'll want to do this not in the customized view like I'm doing. So if you're in customized view, you'll just need to cut this stuff off. But what you want to do is you want to copy everything right here forward. Okay. So just to show you that, if I do an incognito window really quick, and if I paste in that link that I just copied, it's going to take me to the search page. And my internet's starting to slow down, but it takes me to the search page with that term already populated. So it's kind of like a way of creating a smart collection. And what you can do with that is you can actually link that in your site menu. And so to do that, all you need to do is go back in here, hover over this, hit the plus button, and then we would say, okay, this is going to be for women, hit enter. And then we're going to change this to link to an external web page. And this is where we would paste in that link. So even though it's not an external web page, we need to be able to paste in that exact link with that term entered on here. And then once you do that, you click update, and that adds that to that site menu item right here. So now I'm going to publish this, and I'll show you guys how that works from this published view. So if I'm on the main page here, and we go to royalty-free stock photos, we've got the search page linked. We have our people, which goes to a gallery. Okay, so it goes to a gallery. We have the women, which goes to the search page with that pre-typed in. All right, and you can change that. You can have a lot of options in there. And from here, basically they just click on the photo, and that photo is available for purchase on that price list that we applied here. Okay, now let me go back really quick, because on the landscape one, I did price a couple of those photos differently. And I want to show you guys how that works. And then we're going to take a break, and then I'm going to come back and get your questions. But we're going to go here. We'll go to landscape and scenic. And then what we're going to do is we'll click on these first. So right here, we're seeing the original options that we added to that price list. But if I go to the photo before this, these options are going to change because I changed the price list on this. Okay. And so that is how you set that up to where if you have photos that you've done some special editing to, maybe they're just really famous images, or you know that the value of those images are just higher than the other images in your gallery, what you can do is put that separate price list on there and charge a higher price. All right. So the last thing I'll show you guys is make sure that you are, my button didn't work. Make sure that you are sharing this out with your clients, right? Make sure that you don't just take the time to set all this up. Share this out with your clients and let your clients know that you're now offering stock photography services, that you have images available for any kind of print needs that they might want, or for their website. So you can go into your account, you can go to your communications, and you can email everybody and send them that link. You can actually go to the gallery right here, or the group, and you could send that email out and invite people to that by going to email group. You could copy that link, share it out on your social media. There's lots of things you can do to go ahead and initiate some traffic driving into that section of your site. That's going to be really helpful. So make sure that you are taking the time to share that out with your clients. All right. Okay, guys, I'm going to take a quick break. And I told you guys a little bit about PhotoBooker. I'm going to show a quick video on PhotoBooker. Again, make sure that you guys go check it out. This was a video I created for a trade show. So it's going to show you a little bit about PhotoBooker and how it works, but make sure that you go check out that link in the description below as well. All right, guys, so make sure you go check out PhotoBooker. I know, like, right now everybody's like, oh, I'm not booking any shoots. We're all having to social distance, right? But guys, this thing that we're in right now is gonna pass. Like, we're gonna make it through this. And when we get through this and we're allowed to come back out of our houses and we're allowed to gather again in groups, all of those weddings, all of those concerts, and all of those events and everything that got postponed and pushed back is going to come in with a surge. And we need to make sure that as photographers, we're ready. We have it set up. We're ready to capture all of that. And so right now, as we have some time, go check out PhotoBooker, get your profile set up. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. It's going to help your SEO, right? It's getting your business name out there on a separate page, on a separate listing. It doesn't cost you anything to set it up. Make sure that you go check it out. And again, like I said, we're going to be talking more about that next week. Richard's going to be showing you guys some things on that, but go check it out. Go sign up now. It does not cost you anything. That way, when we can get back to business as usual, we're ready to catch some more bookings. All right. Okay. Let's see. A couple of you guys, lots of you guys actually jumped on while I was talking. Sorry I went so long. I'm going to do my best to get to your guys' questions, but I do want to do a big shout out to everybody here. So we've got Kevin Davis, Jennifer LaRoche, Roxanne Bay jumping in and hanging out with us, Lynn McEntee. Man, I always struggle with that name, and then I always either ask you if I get it right or get it wrong. But Lynn, thanks for hanging out with us week after week. Really appreciate you being here. JD Engel. Paul is hanging out with us. Home phone. Let's see. Joyful Journey. That's a cool name. I like that name. Let's see, and Robert DeSosa, and anybody else that I missed. If I missed your name, I promise it was not on purpose. Lynn Long jumping in and hanging out with us as well. We really appreciate all of you guys who hang out with us week after week. This is why we do this. We want to see you guys be successful. And we just think you guys are really cool people, and we like hanging out with you anyway. All right, so we're going to jump into the Q&A session. I've got 14 minutes left. Let's see how many questions I can get done. All right, so here we go. First question from Miss Jennifer LaRoche. She says, is it LaRoche? Am I saying it right? She said, should the image name match the caption for the best SEO? So that's a great question. That's a question I get a lot. And my answer to this is no, it should not match the name. What you want to think about is you want in both of those sections, in the title of the image and the caption of the image, you want to describe that image, but you want to describe it using different words, right? Because you want to diversify the words that you're getting. So if you put the title of the image as woman in a shopping center, and then you put the caption as woman in a shopping center, that gives you really limited keywords to show up on search. So what I would suggest to do is describe the image, but use different words. Woman in a shopping center as a title, and your caption, lady clothes shopping at a mall, right? So we're saying the same thing. We're describing the image, but we're using different words, and that's going to help diversify those words, those keywords, and help you get better search results. That's what I would suggest. Great question, though. Okay, next question. This is from Paul Edelkamp. Hopefully I'm saying that one right. Would love to be able to have Facebook pixel code for a tracking mechanism. Curious if others are using it. This has definitely been something that's been requested, something that we're looking at, Paul. Unfortunately, I don't have any time-specific information for you. I wish that I did, but I can tell you that we are always looking at things that we can do to improve the platform, to give you guys what you're asking for, and to help just make Zenfolio better for everybody. So great question. I wish I had more information. Again, this is something that's been asked for. I know that it's something that is being looked at, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be implemented anytime in the future. I just know that it's something that is being looked at. Great question. All right, let's see. Next question here really quick. Okay, we've got Joyful Journey says, I have two questions. One, is there a way to disable the buy button? Two, my homepage lists all of my other pages, but when I go to the other pages, the buttons don't show on my homepage, plus two other pages. So Joyful Journey, that's a great question. I wish I could answer question number 2 for you, but I would really need to see your site and what's going on. And in 11 minutes, I don't think we have time to get it pulled up and check it out. But you could definitely reach out to our support team. They are phenomenal, you guys. Like, seriously, these guys are insanely phenomenal at their job. Like, I don't know about you guys. I've had to do a lot of talking with other support teams this week, and I don't want to call anybody out. But I just want to say that after working with our support team, I just realized how amazing they are and how much they love you guys and love helping you guys. So Joyful Journey, for your question number 2, if you have access to the chat, which I'm sure you probably do, click that chat button and then make sure to let them know, send them a link to your site, have them look at it. I'm sure they will be able to answer that question. For question number 1, is there a way to disable the buy button? The only way to really disable the buy button in your gallery is to remove the price list. Now, you can set the buy button not to show by default and have it be like a hover. So if we go into a gallery really quick, and I'm trying to think of a gallery that would be a good example, maybe one of these. Let me just go in here really quick, and I'm going to open this in a new tab right here. So we're going to open that up in a new tab. Going to hover over the edit button and click edit page. And then what you can do is there are some options to kind of take care of that buy button a little bit. The only way to really remove it is to remove the price list from the gallery, which I'm assuming you probably don't want to do. So if you have a price list, this buy button will always show up. However, the buy button down here, you do have some options as placement as to how it shows. So if you go to options up here, you can come down to thumbnails, and then right here it says buy button, and you can say show on hover, show, or hide. So you can hide the buy button that's over the images, just not the one that's up on the top right corner up here. That one is going to be there as long as you have a price list. But now this buy button is gone. Okay, so hopefully that gave you a little bit of an answer to that question. Definitely great question. Really appreciate you throwing that out there and asking that. Let me get back into my, really quick. If you want that to apply to all of your galleries, hit the save as default option. That's going to save that as your gallery default settings, and then make sure you publish it so it goes live out to your site. Okay, jumping back over here. Next question really quick. 8 minutes. Roxanne Bay says, I am a stock photographer. Is there a way to link images to my Adobe contributor account? I am not sure, but I'm going to guess that the answer to that, unfortunately, at the moment is no. I am not familiar with any way of linking to an Adobe contributor account. I've actually never really played around with that. I need to check it out and see what that looks like. But you can put links into different things in your gallery captions. So if you guys hang out on our YouTube channel and you listen to me talk much, you will hear me say over and over and over again that captions are the most underutilized feature in Zenfolio. And so what you can do is you can go to a gallery right here, click on that. You can go to details, you can go into your caption, and as long as your caption is showing, you could put something in here like, I don't know what you would say, but click here to see my Adobe stock contributor something, whatever you want to say. Highlight that text and then link to it right here like this. And I think that might do the trick. Again, I'm not really sure what the purpose is to linking to that, but that is one way that you could do it here. There's not really a way to do it on specific images, but you could do it like that. Hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea, Roxanne. And if not, definitely something that we could look into if I knew more specifics on what that would be used for. Okay, let's see. A few more minutes here. Got a couple of other questions coming there in the chat. Shark says, can I add a search option in my site menu? 100% absolutely. Yes, you can. Zenfolio does have a built-in search option. And so if I hover over a website, right click on customize site, get that opened up in a new tab. I kind of did that when I was setting up the stock photography, but you can definitely add it up here in a couple of different places. So if you want it to literally just say search in your site menu right here, you can go right over here, add a new site menu item. You can say search, hit enter, and you can link that to not to a group, gallery, or collection, but to a built-in page. And you can select that search right here, and you can update that, and that would literally just link to that search page. So that's one option that you have, is literally just making it an item on your site menu. Now the other thing that you could do is you can set that to show in your header. So if you go down to site header, you can go to elements and you can set the search field to show, and it can show expanded or collapsed. And if I apply that, that is going to put that up here. So if we go up here really quick, there's a little search bar right up here. And that's another option that you have as well, is just doing it that way and linking to that. All right. So that's definitely something that you could do. Let's see, 5 more minutes left. Let me see if I have some more questions I can get answered over here. 1 second. Let me grab another question. All right. Next question. My contact page has the text fields so visitors can send me messages, but it also has some information to the left, my email address, phone number, etc. Where does Zenfolio pull that information from, and how can I hide it? Absolutely great question. All of the information that shows on your contact page is pulled from your contact information section in your account. So let me show you where that's at, show you what you could do to kind of modify that if you need to. You're going to go to hover over your name right up here, click on account, and then you're going to click over here to contact information, and then we're just going to show the information that you have in here. So if you don't want some of this stuff showing, you can just remove it. Right, so you can take it out, take this out, take all that information out, save it, and you can remove that. Now, the other thing that you can do is you can customize your contact page. So there's not a lot of options, but there are some options. So if we go into built-in pages right here, and then if we go into the contact page and we just hit customize, this will load up that contact page, and there is a way to make it just the form by itself. So if you don't want all of this stuff showing, you can go up here to, and let me bring this down so you guys can see that, layout, and there is an option right here to just have it show the contact form. So you select that option, hit apply, if my mouse would work right, and it's going to make it be just that contact form with all that other information taken out. So those are your two options that you have. You can remove the information or just change the layout so that it only shows this contact form here. Okay, and then again, you would just want to make sure you publish this. Okay, a couple more questions from chat. Let's see. Looks like Robert says, how do we make titles or captions visible to customers? Great question. Go to any gallery in Customize View. In order to get there, click on a gallery, right-click on Preview, open that in a new tab, and then what you're going to do is you're going to go Edit Page. Okay, and once you're here, Edit Page, then you're going to go to Options, uncheck Use Default, go to Page Elements. Here is where you can set the caption to show. You can set your categories and keywords to show right here. Then you go to thumbnails, and that's where you can set your image title to show and the buy button and all that stuff. And once you turn all of that on, you're going to apply that, set it as default if you want that to be your default settings, and then publish those changes to go out live. So I would save as default and publish them. Let's see. Next question. Any watermarking tips for stock photos? That's a great question. Use Zenfolio's watermark feature. I don't have time to go into great detail on that, but I would use Zenfolio's built-in watermark feature. That way when people buy the downloads, we remove the watermark. Now, as far as those watermarks go, for stock photos, you probably want something that's going to kind of grid across the image. So what you might want to do is create your own. And if you're not sure how to do that, I did do a live stream a couple of weeks back that show how to create a watermark in Photoshop. But what I would do is I would pull up an image, grid it with the guides, and then place that watermark all around the image in different points, remove the background, export that as a transparent PNG file out of Photoshop, and then upload it into Zenfolio as a watermark. I know I went through that fast. Go back and check out that tutorial. It will walk you through that entire process. Brian says, can you alphabetize the organizer? If you are in the organizer, you can click over here, and there are sort options. So you can click here and you can say, let's sort by A to Z or Z to A, and I want to sort it by title. I want to sort it by date created. So there's information here that you can do that. You can sort all photographs. You can sort your sub-galleries that way. You can have different options in there. So there's a lot of sorting options there. As well. It looks like Roxanne Bay won our $50 print credit. That is awesome. Congratulations, Roxanne. Super thankful to have you guys here. Unfortunately, we are out of time. So I do just want to say thank you guys so very much for coming on here and hanging out with us week after week. Don't forget, every single live stream, you can watch those over again at your leisure. You can pause, you can mute me. There's a link in the description below this video that will go to our live stream archive where you can see all of our past live streams, including my very first one, which I'm not telling you to go back and watch because it's rather embarrassing. All of that's available. Just click the link in the description below. Again, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Paul, Joyful Journey, Roxanne, Sharks408, Dennis, thank you guys. Thank you so much for taking care of everybody. JD, Brian, Robert, Lynn, anybody else that I missed, I really appreciate you guys. You guys are fantastic. Make sure you guys that you're all staying safe, that you're staying smart. Make sure that we are doing things to surface positivity. As photographers, I feel like that is our responsibility in times like this, to surface things that give other people hope, that give people just something to look forward to, an image just to brighten somebody's day. Make sure that you're taking your time, especially now, to do that. Make sure that you guys are staying safe. And then don't forget, Tuesdays, Site Review Tuesday. Come back, hang out with me then. Until then, I hope that you guys all have a safe and wonderful weekend.